Transition effects are effects that you place in between clips, controlling how the image on the A side exits and how the image on the B side enters. Let's take a look at how to apply and adjust transitions. All right, I'm going to go into 9.3, and I want to show you first how to add the most common type of transition, the dissolve. All you need to do is click on the edit point in between two clips and press Command-T. As you can see, a transition has been added to this space. If I click on the transition and press Control-D, you'll notice that it is 1 second long. You can always change this by going up to Final Cut Pro, Preferences, and then under Editing, Transition, you can either make that shorter or longer as you want. To change the duration within the sequence, there are a couple ways you can do that. I'm just going to zoom in, Command++. If I want to change the duration of the transition, I just grab on the edge here and drag out or drag in. Notice that when I drag out, I get a red bar over here on the left-hand side, and that simply means that I've run out of frames. And I'll drag back in. If I want to keep a transition intact while I perform a ripple edit, I drag on these lines right here, and I'm performing a ripple edit on the A side clip or on the B side clip. If I want to keep a transition intact while I perform a roll edit, I just go in the middle here and then roll back and forth between the clips, and the transition remains where it is. Let's go ahead and just play our transition. To delete a transition, you just click on it and press delete. To apply a transition to either side of a clip, you just click on the clip itself and then press Command-T, and transitions are applied to either side. Notice that if I select each side of the transition and right-click and choose Expand Audio Video, the transition was applied to the video and an audio cross-dissolve was applied to the audio. So you could adjust this accordingly if you wanted to once you expanded the components. I'm going to collapse this for now. So that's the dissolve. Again, the most common type of transition by far. Now let's head over to the transition browser. I'm just going to click this button right here, and the transition browser opens up. And as you can see, the left side contains categories, and the right side contains the effects within those categories. If you want to take a look at what this is basically going to look like once you apply the transition, you kind of have this image of the forest and the image of the mountains, and it sort of performs the transition as you hover your mouse from left to right. There's definitely some interesting transitions out there, so I would recommend that you not use them that often. Be very judicious about it. It's a very common mistake of rookie editors to overuse them, so just be careful there. Let's go ahead and Shift-Z to fit everything in the window, and we'll apply a transition in between these two clips here. All you need to do is drag and drop. So if I wanted to bring a lens flare in between these two, I'll just drag and drop. Let's go ahead and play it out and see how this is looking. Now, a lot of times you'll just leave it alone, but sometimes you do have the ability to reach into the transition and change some things about it. I'll just go ahead and click on it and then open the inspector, Command-4. And you can see that our lens flare transition, for example, has a few parameters that we can change. Let me go ahead and apply a fade to color because this is a little bit more obvious on this one. Right now, this is fading to black. Let's just click on it, go in the inspector, and we'll change something very obvious. We'll change the color from black to white. And if I zoom in a little bit, I'll go ahead and shorten it. So now instead of a fade to black, we have kind of a flash to white going on. Again, you can basically either rely on the parameters that each one of these contains, or in many cases, you can come into the inspector and change something about it. Let me go ahead and press Shift-Z to fit everything in. I'm going to grab some more clips here, farm scenery, and I'm just going to add some connected clips to this sequence, like so. And I want to show you that just like many other types of editing in Final Cut Pro, adding transitions does not really respond in the same way with connected clips as it does with clips in a storyline. So if I try to apply a transition here, notice that I just physically cannot drag and drop this on. I can convert this to a storyline, so I'll select them, right-click, and create storyline. And just as with many other types of editing in Final Cut Pro, I've now fixed my issue, and it's treated just like any clip in the primary storyline. I'm going to delete some of this stuff here and clean things up. If I wanted to delete multiple transitions, I just need to Command-click them and then press delete, and they all go away. I want to address one last thing about transitions, and that is the function of shot handle. So just to remind us of what shot handle is, I'm going to open up the Precision Editor by double-clicking on the transition. And so we have handle, or unused portion of the clip, right here for the A-side clip and right here for the B-side clip. So when I apply a 1-second transition, the transition is actually going to take 15 frames from this side and 15 frames from that side and meld them together, or in the case of 24 frame per second video, 12 and 12. So what if you don't have the appropriate amount of shot handle to make this happen? Well, let's go ahead and simulate this. I'll go ahead and perform a ripple edit so that I don't have any frames here. And I'll close my Precision Editor for now. And I'll add a transition, Command-T, and it says, hey, there's not enough extra media beyond the clip edges to create the transition. Basically, it's saying there's not enough shot handle. And then it says, do you want to overlap or ripple trim your media to perform the transition? So it does exactly what it's saying. It's going to basically trim so that some of this media is going to disappear from the visible timeline and go into the shot handle in order to make the transition possible. So you can either cancel and deal with it on your own, or say, yeah, create transition. So now I have the transition, and my whole sequence shortened because of this. So you just need to be aware of this if you choose the option for it to create the transition. So as you can see, applying and adjusting transitions is an easy process, and as long as you use them judiciously, transitions can add the necessary melding of images that can help tell your story.